All right, hello everybody. Welcome back. Episode 4 of Thawt for Food. For those who don't know, who've never turned in, my name is Luke Skyy with Hybrid Collective. We are here for episode 4 of the series that we've been doing. Pretty excited. We're switching things up a little bit this week. This week we had my guests pick the spot in which we were coming to for today's lunch. So here we are at Jamaican Grill, actually a spot I've never been to. Really excited to vicariously eat lunch through another person's perspective. He's been here before. I'm sure it's a great place. I love Jamaican food. We're here. It's the Sante Fe Art District right off of 8th and Sante Fe, pretty close to downtown Denver. I'm sure if anybody's been here, you can probably give me a good idea of what kind of food we're getting ourselves into. So yeah, it's a glorious snowy Wednesday evening here in Denver, Colorado. I'm really excited to share today's lunch and today's guest, a man that I've built with over the course of the years, a man very prominent in the Denver music scene, making big moves. His name is Michael Acuna. Those who might know him as Se7en, out there making moves, done TED Talks, really big around the community, big philanthropy kind of guy, making really big moves in the city. So I'm really excited to sit him down and have a conversation with him about how we could build a more sturdy, structured Denver music scene, as if it's not already going on. I've been looking around, my friends, trying to support local lately. You guys are doing incredible jobs. Keep up the good work. We've been building a Hybrid Collective too, trying to give you guys some really good content. And I know Se7en and his Brass and Gold Society band is also making big moves. So come check out Jamaican Grill first and foremost. Have yourself a good lunch, and then check out Se7en and his Brass and Gold Society band, and more Denver music. Again, support local, guys. It's really important to do that. As always, if you want to support and connect with us, you can find us at hybridco@gmail.com. And if you want to support, go to patreon.com/Hybrid Collective. And without further ado, my friends, welcome to episode 4 of Thawt for Food. High power to you all. Peace.
So I do a lot of following up with I do a lot of speaking engagements and stuff like that. So I'm following up with different universities, colleges sometimes.
Okay.
I'm also I do a lot of back end organizings. I'm on a lot of boards.
Huh.
So some of the stuff I'm doing is behind the scenes style of stuff. So I help organize city events.
Nice.
Put together shows.
For Denver, the city,
yeah.
or outside the area as well.
So right now, I do partnerships. I've done partnerships with Denver, in the city of Denver.
Yeah.
So one of the partnerships that I'm doing right now, it's with this brilliant businesswoman. Her name is Keo Frazier, and she has a marketing company that's working with the city of Denver, and they're doing this event called the Exonerated 5.
Okay.
So it's an event that is engaging the Central Park 5. So what the whole discussion is to really address the school to prison pipeline and prison industrial complex.
Sure.
And their story ties into that. So I'm helping organize events like that. I do some collaborations with Red Line Art Gallery.
Yeah. I've actually only heard of Red Line Art Gallery. Is that down here? Is that Sante Fe Art District?
No, so Red Line Art Gallery is over in the east side, 5 Points area.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of kind of collaborations with artists, activists. They do residencies over there, put together a lot of art shows and stuff.
For sure.
So I've got a few things that I'm collaborating with them on right now as well. Just putting together things, man.
Cool.
I do a lot of back end stuff.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I like to hear that. I like to hear big moves being made. All right, I'm gonna do a quick little introduction, get us started real quick. Everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Thawt for Food. Like I explained in the intro, we are here with Michael Acuna. Se7en.
What up?
Yeah, Denver mover and shaker. Like I said, Emcee, I've known Se7en for probably about 10 years now.
Wow, man.
We were messing around with Soul City. Back in the day. We have a song out. I think we've done it before. We've done
we got to get another one out.
We do, we do, absolutely. We got to keep building. So yeah, man, this is Thawt for Food. This is the hybrid. This is what we're building, trying to contribute to the Denver art and creator scene. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
So just trying to continue building with artists around the city and making sure that the structures of Denver's music and art scene is pretty strong, like you've been doing for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Which is really dope.
Yeah,
really
man, I
dope.
appreciate that. Man.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate going to your shows. I like the new band too.
Oh, thank you.
Brass and Gold Society. That's
right
big. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
People need to go check that out. How did that formulate?
A few of the musicians that are in the band.
Yeah.
I've known them for a while, and they had the idea to put together like a jazz, hip hop, soul band.
Yeah.
And it's crazy too because I've played in a few bands at this point. I played in Roots, Rice and Beans.
Okay.
And I've played with Big Will a little bit down over at Appaloosa.
Sure.
So, I played with bands for a minute, but I was looking for like a sound that kind of like meshed together, kind of like this classic jazz and hip hop, you know, almost like a J Dillish type of style.
Yeah,
vibe,
for sure. I got that when you guys were playing. We seen you at the Fox Theater a couple weeks ago. That was,
Thanks,
no doubt.
Man. Man. So, this cat, Randy Runyon, who's the trumpet player in our band, he reached out to me and he said he had an idea to like put together some musicians and thought I would be a good fit for it as far as an MC.
Yeah.
And, we went into a session, and then from that session it just clicked.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
Yep.
And then from there it's been vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just been riding with it.
No, that's dope. How is as an MC, we usually do. I mean, at the most, with the exception of like the Roots, you don't really get a band atmosphere.
Sure.
There's not many like bands plus MC, so you get used to as an MC maybe being an MC, a second MC, and a DJ on stage. But now you're sharing a stage with 6 different people and then yourself.
Yeah, 7.
7 different people and then yourself. How's that? Like, how is it managing all? I mean, because obviously there's a bunch of different personalities.
Right.
You're all there for the same cause or whatever. But sometimes those things could clash. Has that been interesting figuring out the dynamic? You've said you've done it with bands before, so.
Right. All the bands that I've played with in the past already kind of have a set format for the most part. This band is like a band of like all-stars, you know what I'm saying? They all are brilliant in their own right. Tania, she's the
keyboard
player. She has her own bands that she runs.
On top of.
On top of that. And then Randy, he plays in several bands. Almost all the musicians that are in this band, they gig, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're gigging musicians. So they're there because they want to be there, you know what I'm saying? They're there because they want to be there. So it hasn't been a hard manage because it is work, but it's not work, you know what I'm saying? It's been kind of just a natural mesh.
I always feel it should never be work if it's like,
Yeah.
If it's something you're passionate about, the passion should feed into it, not feeling like work. It should feel more like play with some like creative outcomes,
I agree, man. And that's what it's been. You know what I'm saying? It's been good vibes. I've had so we're working on an album right now, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
That should be fun.
Yeah, I don't know where we're gonna drop it, but we've been doing a lot of collaborations with different musicians, different singers, MCs.
Sure.
So it's been cool. It's been building out. It's still right now it's got a lot of raw elements, and we're gonna build it out fuller.
Yeah.
Add more things to it.
No doubt. Absolutely. That's the natural progression of things.
Yeah, man.
You come together with the basic idea, and then you plant that idea as if it's a seed, and then you nourish the seed and watch it grow and become something maybe you didn't even expect it to be. I mean, as many times as I've started creative endeavors with that idea, that premise in mind, just to kind of see what it naturally grows into, I think is kind of the base level of being an artist. Is you can have an envision of what it's all going to turn out to be.
Yeah.
But then, don't be surprised if somewhere along the way, the right decision was made, and now it's something completely different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always like that. I always like that aspect of artistic creation and shit.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
That's where the magic happens.
I think so.
I think like
the
when anything's when it's forced, a lot of the time I find that it could be good. I'm not saying that it can't be good.
Right.
Like it can definitely be good, but I feel like when it's just naturally in the moment, you get a lot of creative magic in those moments that you couldn't capture any other way. So
I completely agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's dope. I will definitely be looking forward to that. To that album dropping.
I'm excited,
what that
man.
Looks like. I'll hopefully get a chance to meet the band and everything. They seem like a good cast of characters. Like I said, when I was watching y'all do your thing, it sounded really good. You guys got a real good sound for being a brand new band and everything, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
Just putting that thing out. So how long has it been since you guys started putting things together?
It's been about a year.
Okay.
So we've been about a year in right now. We've played a lot of great gigs, starting out. But we still working out the kinks, getting the sound kind of solid, more solidified. But in that year, it's been a lot of growth.
Yeah.
We haven't had any personality clashes, so that's a blessing. You know, that's a hard thing to balance.
Yeah.
So it's just been it's been all natural in the ways that it's come together. So I think that's the thing that keeps it going in the ways that it's going at this point. Because like Roots, Rice, and Beans is another band that I played in. That's with Melina Speaks.
Yes.
And Rick. And within that band, it was more passion project. Sure. I think it was kind of we've been wanting to do stuff together live, and that kind of just naturally came together. Blake on the drums.
Are you still? Are y'all still working? What was it? Roots, Rice, and Beans.
Yeah, we got an album out.
Okay.
I did an album with them.
Okay. I know Melina, like I don't think I've ever actually met Melina, but I've seen his work.
Okay, cool.
So I've seen his work. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know you guys actually had done that.
Yeah, we did a band. We had been gigging. He's playing. We're all playing in other bands at this point. That's kind of where that's at. So he plays in a band called Pink Hawks, and same as Rick and Blake. They play in a few different bands as well. So, kind of.
Do you play any instruments?
I play keys. I play keys a little bit.
Yeah.
And then mostly just been on like production.
Yeah.
Yeah, producing, putting together sounds and stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, it's been a while. It's been high school. I used to play on the drums.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I let it go quite some time ago. I haven't, picked it back up. But I really am interested in, like, getting back into it because I feel like, the rhythm... and I might have to get myself a teacher again to go back over the moves. I don't know. It's been 20 years since I picked up and played it. Like, I mess around and get behind a drum set. It just doesn't click the way that it used to.
For sure.
If you don't use it, you lose it, kind of shit.
Yeah. I think that's learning from other artists. You know what I'm saying? Building out your skill set by collaborating, reaching out to somebody. I know a lot. I mean, most musicians. That's how they move. Like if they want to learn something, they're hitting up their friend and getting lessons from the homie and learning from that. So I'm a big fan of that myself. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got into production and doing a little bit of sound engineering and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm trying not to box myself in as an artist. Like I feel like I've done that over the course of the last 10 years.
We all have.
Just kind of focus on one style of music, one type of writing style, cadences and shit, and just trying to perfect that. Well, now that you get to a point where that's situated, to branch out, try new things, I think that's what keeps it alive in a lot of artists. I think you see it, the stagnancy of like artists in the past, artists that we used to like that maybe have fallen off because they didn't continue to grow. You know what I mean? They just kind of stayed the same. And it's like, well, if I wanted to listen to your first album again, I would have just go back and listen to your first record again. You know what I mean? You put out something that sounds exactly the same as you put out before. Kind of has its boxing in quality. So yeah, I mean that's I mean, we talked about it. Adrian, Enemy, my roommate, he had played with the band for a while. Okay. Enemy in the Dark Side, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember hearing some stuff around what he was doing.
Yeah, and they had done it. It sounded good and everything. The band unfortunately broke up, but
right.
You know, it's got to be a cool experience to connect with other people and make live music in that sense. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. I think, like, you know, sometimes things are for the moment too. You know, you get what you need out of that moment, and you learn those lessons, and you move forward to the next. You know.
Yeah, you hope.
Yeah. You hope. Not everybody gets that. You know?
You would hope. I mean, that's we try our best, but I think habitual living that we do, you know what I mean, kind of sometimes pulls us back into doing the same things we've always done, even if we're not even consciously aware of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's good. Like sessions like this where we could talk about, you know, building structure and being better at, you know, the next thing we do.
For sure.
You know, I think is kind of very important. You know, a lot of artists, I think, deal with that ego tendency where it all has to come from them and only them. And that's all that matters. And I'm like, well, if that's the way you want to be, you know, I don't know how I could help you there.
I mean, like, I feel like, you know, the nature of music, but not just music, just art, is collaboration. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get more out of anything, any situation, if you have more minds at the table, more people exchanging ideas. Like, you're gonna make that movement that much bigger, that idea that much brighter, you know? Yeah, man, and that's one thing that it's taken me a long time to, like, really get to the point of, is like that openness.
Right.
But, like, once you're open, you learn the lessons. You know what I'm saying? If you choose to be open in the situation, you learn the lessons. And then another person, you know, and then, you know, having people who are more brilliant than you in a variety of different ways to, like, sharpen your sword and to pull you up and to like kind of reflect the things and possibilities of what you can do. Yeah. A lot of people are scared to grow. You know what I'm saying? That's really more so than anything what it is, that reluctantness is like, it's a fear of what change looks like. Right. And like what's on the other side of what I'm used to, you know? Yeah. And that's tied into so many other things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, you know, like, I think that information has been becoming more and more readily available to us. I think, you know, over the course of time, we were told we can only live a certain way. For sure. We've accepted that, and then, you know, all of a sudden we start figuring out we don't have to live this way. And I think it's just a natural growth of us as human beings and what, you know, the connection that we have in between people. Yeah. Especially with social media as big as it is now, you kind of get a different you get more perspectives. Oh yeah. As opposed to being just boxed in or enclosed into, you know, thinking the way mom and dad thought, and basically the way their mom and dad thought. And then, you know, now we get introduced to so many other different lines of thinking. That we have. It's in our best interest to kind of seek out educated mentors and people that can help you grow your ideas and your ability to perceive things and manage your perspectives, so that you can ultimately start to see those things that are holding you back, and maybe collaborating with different ideas so that, you know, you yourself can grow, as opposed to be just like a one-sided stationary idealist, which is what I think a lot of people, you know, with the Make America Great Again stance in their life, has become so one-sided, one narrowly minded, thinking that that's the only kind of thought processes that they can go through. And it's unfortunate because I don't know if it's that ingrained, if there's ever an opportunity to change. You know, some of those people.
I don't know, man. I feel so much of that Make America Great Again narrative. You know, it's got a lot of root, in my opinion, in fear and guilt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fear and guilt. And I think that that accountability factor of like historic, and it's a funny thing with the accountability factor because it's not really poor white people's need to be accountable. And the reason why I say that is Yeah. Well, when we're talking about like racism as a system,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Versus, we're talking about like the actualities of how culture breaks down, right? Like in actuality, racism is a top-bottom thing, meaning that the affluent whites, the people who are like actually developers,
Right.
and people who are actually like influence the system, versus the bottom of the barrel people who ain't got shit and who are actually scared
Right.
and fearful
Right.
of losing their jobs. That's a different style of racism.
I hear you.
Like getting called nigger like by a homeless person, and you got money in your pocket and you go into your house, doesn't feel the same
Right.
versus like dealing with it, and you're trying to get a loan for a job, for a business you want to start, or you know what I'm saying, you want to take an opportunity on that like can grow your college, whatever that is. That's an institution,
right?
So like when I think about the Make America Great Again narrative, it's really so much ignorance in it. You know what I'm saying? Like in the ignorance that's in it, it's really just a divide and conquer tool to like get people to like focus on a red hat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus to focus on like this dude who is in office, Trump, who is actually outside of what he's publicly doing, he's like building an infrastructure for wealth. And like making that divide line even harder for poor white people,
right?
Even for poor white people, you know what I'm saying? Like, even for the ones who like freaking like, there's a lot of black privilege as well. There's a lot of black folks who are affluent, who have money, and who are doing well, who are looking at these red hat cats as like, man, you don't even.
Yeah, absolutely. And my concern is like, all of us in this. Lower structure of class society could, use the help from the ones who are affluent and powerful, but because of the way everything is structured, I'm not dividing by race lines. It's now more a class structure.
For sure.
So, and it's unfortunate that we can't reach out to the brothers and sisters who don't look like us, but still are in the same class structure as us, and they want to still consider us as opponents. And I'm like, look at the position we're both in. We're in this because of the institution, the way the institution is set up.
Yeah.
Not because we dislike each other as people. We're in the same exact boat where we're all trying to get a leg up. We're all trying to claw ourselves out of a certain position to make our lives better and more comfortable,
right?
And we can't see past each other's skin tone,
right? That's what I feel. It's like the skin tone situation is the distraction. I feel like
distraction.
It's the distraction.
Is a great way to put it.
Like the Occupy movement had it down. That was like that was the real movement.
What happened to that, man?
It had to be disrupted. You know what I'm saying? It had to be disrupted because like the focal point of where the rage was at and the anger was at was going in the right direction.
Right.
We're like, oh, bankers, oh, people with money, power, real power. And it was, like, and not to say like, but social media and the ways that it's designed right now, you know what I'm saying? It makes everything go viral, right? So like, and this is just factual, like the work that I do currently right now has a lot to do with the school to prison pipeline, the prison industrial complex, which has been a battle that's been going on forever. Like this isn't new. So like, because it's been going on so long, we know this though. Like niggas has been put in prison. This ain't new. You know what I'm saying? Niggas have been shot in the streets. This ain't new. But like when you got to see it on social media, it made it a thing, right? And then social media itself utilized it as a tool to divide and conquer us. Meaning that we got so focused on like freaking what they were yelling about, we've lost the focus on, but wait a minute, corporations, wait a minute, freaking people with power. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Isn't that incredible how quickly that could happen too?
So quickly. It's so quick. And social media, the way that I look at it, it's the equivalent of what television was in the 1960s.
Yeah.
It was the first time that we had access. You know what I'm saying? Like we could see everything. Mm-hmm. So it woke everybody up. You know what I'm saying? It got people who normally, because I feel like people like us, we've been engaged in what's happening socially because like that's our reality, the music we listen to, the people we gravitate towards. That's the way that we live our lives for the most part. But there's a lot of people who don't have that. who aren't engaged in those things. So for those people, that activated them into wanting to be activists or engage into something, whether or for the right and the left, right? For whether there were conservatives who were like all of a sudden about, you know, whatever they were about with tiki torches, or you know, like, or if it was Black Lives Matter, you know what I'm saying, or indigenous rights, or immigrant, you know, rights, or LGBTQ plus rights, you know, like all these rights people are now focused on because we haven't had a chance to look at each other in the ways that we can look at each other because of social media. So, you know, like I look at what we're battling right now, and I feel like the thing that we're battling is really to like find that we're all on the same path, and the fight that we're actually fighting has nothing to do. It does have to do with race, but not really. Meaning that like it has to do with race because of the history and the lineage and all that shit, right? But like right now, like how do we push forward for that narrative? You know, because even as people of color, black people, whatever, like we have to know where we come from and have pride in where we come from to even advance up to the next.
Just as much so as, you know, the ones who had built America, you know what I mean? Like the premise of which America was founded on, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like is a good premise. You got it right. But if you're gonna do that and you're gonna bring in people from all over the world and it's gonna be this melting pot of cultures, everyone has to get a fair and equal playing field, and it can't just be the few resources we have to make everybody's life comfortable in the pursuit of happiness needs to be equally spread apart. And so, like, you know, the systems that are in place, old slavery systems that have been in place since Greek and Roman times, you know what I mean? These are the old things that are hard to kill because the people who do have the power want it to stay that way, so they'll use things like propaganda in order to divert attention from an Occupy movement, which was probably, of all the movements, I think, in the last 20 years, probably the one that needed to be focused on the most, and we just went right back to business as usual.
As we always do,
Based on, like, you know, fuck again, fuck Make America Great Again, people, fuck Black Lives Matter. No, like we were getting past that when we were like, it's the 99% versus the 1%. We need, and you know, and I'm trying to think of ways in my days to, how do we approach the rich and powerful and be like, look, at some point, y'all are gonna have to start taking care of the big issues so that we on this level don't have to worry about the big issues. So that we on this level can worry about the issues in our lives that bring us comfortability and sustainable happiness, so that we can start building communities that are actively working towards goals of making ourselves, you know, better.
I agree. I feel like I agree. Like, I think that, like,
So what do we say? You get the opportunity to speak to Bezos and be like, you know, we need you to take care of some global, which he did, right? He just put $10 billion towards global warming, but you know, we need more of that. We need y'all to start taking care of these things. So I'm not going to lose my brothers and sisters who are living on coastlines, who aren't going to be ready for the tides when they rise because y'all just ripping up planet Earth and taking resources that otherwise would sustain themselves, kind of thing. You know, and there's only so much we could do on this level. You know, the top. It has to start at the top. Right?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like right now, like, we're 20 years in to the millennium. And then, like, within being 20 years in, that's like the birth of a new thought, a new process. You know what I'm saying? 20 years into any century, there's a renaissance that ends up happening. You know what I'm saying? So, like, right now, like, people's biggest fear, I feel, for the most part, is the advancement of artificial intelligence, right? Like, you know, freaking computers, freaking taking over type shit. And it's real, right? Like, they're making self-driving cars. They got freaking, like, certain places you go into restaurants and you don't even talk to a person. You talk to, You talk to a kiosk.
Yeah, I've been
You
there.
know what I'm saying?
I've been there.
So like, I feel like, you know, that's the breakdown of where society is at in a lot of places. The fear is legitimate, right? It's like the advancement of the car or the cotton gin. You know what I'm saying? It's like that evolution is happening. And I feel like what you're doing with this, that's what we need to be focused on. What I mean is like entrepreneurship, right? Like building your own platforms, getting out. Because the thing is, making new billionaires is basically what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, all of us are at a shift right now where the American dollar is becoming nothing, right? China's becoming a new powerhouse. They're investing a lot of money in South America and Africa right now because that's where all the resources are at. But they're doing partnerships in that. You know what I'm saying? So I think like within that, let's make the money. You know what I'm saying? And
make the growth.
And that's the influence because politicians are fucking weak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
They're always gonna be influenced by the money.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, and the propaganda surrounding why they should be going for.
Thank you, sir.
No doubt. We'll put this back here. If you don't mind. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Do you need a fork? I think you're good.
I think I'm good, man. I'm about to dig in here, man.
Yeah, no, and like the politicians are definitely. It's weird because I'm at a point in my life where I want to vote and I want to be part of the system, but I'm so nihilistic about the hopes of, you know, where America's headed that it's hard to want to like vote and be a part. And you know, I've always wanted to be a part of it. Real quick, like I talked about when we got started, when the meal comes out on my show, we do a little dedication. So we've reached that part of the show. I have just received my Jamaican jerk shrimp pasta. My man has the Jamaican hot wings over there. Today's dedication for the meal, I want to go ahead and dedicate. Like I said, I've been on a real big support local kick, so I want to send out love to all the Denver MCs and music, like my man Se7en. I'll shout out a few. Maybe you can help me. My dude TMC out there.
Yeah. Spoken words.
Stay tuned. Let's see. Main Rock and them. Stay tuned. Soul City, Opt One. Yeah. Dent Rocks. I want to send. Yeah, I want to go ahead and
Justice Rhymes.
Yeah.
Get some love to Justice Rhymes out there. He's doing it.
Slow Sip out there.
Yeah. Toussaint Lorenz.
There we go.
That's the homie.
Okay. J Triple, female MC. Kayla Marquis and Typhoon.
Kayla Ray.
Kayla Ray music,
Trevor Rich.
Hey, Trevor, of course, Trevor. So, I mean, I want to go ahead and send my love out. This meal is dedicated to Denver hip-hop music. Keep doing your damn thing. I want to collaborate with all of y'all. I want to build with all of y'all. Let's keep doing amazing things in this Denver hip-hop community.
Yeah, man. I think I'm going to dedicate this meal. I'm going to dedicate this meal to Keo Marketing. For her upcoming event that she has coming up, for the Central Park 5 conversation. They're gonna be on location. I'm gonna give some shout outs to some organizations. Second Chance Center. Second Chance Center does a lot of work with men and women who are in transition out of prison, and they get them acclimated back into the community. Nice. And I want to give a shout out to the Crowley Foundation, who are working with young men of color, getting them college scholarships and opportunities. All my people in the east side and the west side.
Yeah, there we go.
North side.
Yeah, there we go. South side.
South
that's
side.
Where I'm at.
Yeah.
For sure. Give love
Glendale.
to all of them. All right, so you should send me the links, that information, so that when you were doing it, we could show the links on the bottom. I'll put them in the comment section and shit, so people can check those shit out. You gotta let me know about that conversation too, or that Central Park 5.
Yeah. I'll put you on the list for it Saturday. Actually.
This Saturday?
Yeah. I'll get you a link.
Okay.
And I'll put you on the list for it to come through. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's eat. Cheers. Let's cheers.
Brother.
Let's eat.
Libations.
Welcome. Yes, it did. So yeah, that Central Park 5. I mean, you want to tell me a little bit about that? Like, what is this? I don't know if I've actually ever heard about the Central Park 5.
Cool. Yeah, man. Central Park 5 was a case that actually Donald Trump was heavily influential on, right?
Okay.
It happened in the 1980s. There were some young men who got caught up in a rush that was like all these kids were going to Central Park just to hang out, have fun. And during that time, a woman was supposedly raped. Actually, she was raped in Central Park.
Yeah.
There was probably about 100 to 200 young people in the park that night, and these young men ended up getting falsely accused of raping this woman. All of them virgins, actually.
They just got out, right?
They recently got out. They got out probably about like 5 years ago.
Right.
5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago.
I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah, they have a movie out right now that on Netflix. It's called When They See Us. And that's kind of how like kind of things have been picked up. Recently, an artist out here, his name is Thomas Evans.
Detour, yeah.
Yeah, Detour. He did some paintings. And he did paintings of all 5 of the Central Park 5, gentlemen. The exonerated 5.
Yeah.
And from that painting, a friend of mine, her name is Keo, she asked if she could buy them. And Thomas was like, nah, you don't need to buy them. As long as you do something cool with them, you can have them.
Yeah.
So she came up with this idea for this conversation, reached out to me and asked if I would help like pull in some resources and organize it.
Yeah.
And then from that, we have this conversation that's happening on the 20th. Mayor Hancock will be in the building, a part of the conversation and the dialogue. There'll be some community organizations, some of the ones that I talked about earlier, that'll be present, kind of talking about the resources and the things they do in the community. So and then the after party will be at Redline Art Gallery, which is in
5 Points.
5 Points in the East Side.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, man.
Excellent. Yeah, no, so I actually do remember actually hearing about that. I don't think I actually seen the Netflix documentary, but I had heard about it. And it's it's an absolute tragedy, my man. It's more than likely they were accused because of color.
Thank you.
Could I get a knife too, although, right? It is the wrong place at the wrong time. But at the same time, our justice system needs to do a better job and that's been the case for quite some time, at actually bringing justice to the people who deserve justice and not just something based on hearsay. Is that something that are we getting better with that? I mean, this was something that happened in the 80s, right? Where, it was a little harder for people of color to maneuver through the justice system.
Right.
Are we still dealing with a lot of that?
I mean, I don't think that's ever changed. I think that's it's always been the same narrative in America. Like, America's always had a narrative of appearing to, like, let black people seem like they're free, right?
Right.
And then reality is they get us within the game, right? The game is the laws that they lay out. And then, like, perfect example is the legalization of marijuana, right? How many people were incarcerated from that when it was illegal versus, and then, everybody who's making money off of it now, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the breakdown of what that is, it shows that it's a game to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can change the rules whenever you want to in order to, like, benefit your business, So, like, like when we're talking about brown and black folks being incarcerated at alarming rates, that's not an accident.
Fact.
Yeah, it's not an accident either. There's a lot of money privatized companies make off of our bodies being in cells. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of money they make.
Yeah. The industrial complex around, and now they're privatizing prisons of all things, to the point where, it makes sense that the people who own a prison would want bodies in the prison because it makes them money. And I'm like, that seems okay. You know what I mean? That seems okay. The propaganda surrounding, not even the propaganda, but the hunt, essentially. Now you're not convicting people based on the treachery that they've caused, but now we're just trying to convict people and throw them in there for a variety of reasons, just so somebody can make extra money.
Man, like hip-hop.
And it's tied into the government.
Hip-hop is tied into it, you know what I'm saying? Our culture is tied into
Right.
it in so many different ways just because of, you know, when you think about hip-hop and where it comes from and like how people became successful on hip-hop historically, it's been off of crack, you know what I'm saying? And like when you look at the history of hip-hop and you see that connection to, you know, the crack era and how a lot of artists like Too Short or, you know, UGK or, you know, a lot of these cats who were talking that hustler life and they weren't really wrong. Like the
Right.
reality is what it is. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If you ain't got shit, you know what I'm saying, they ain't giving you a job, then you gonna hustle.
You're gonna make it, right?
You gonna make it somehow. Like I'm a hustler.
Right.
I understand the rules of hustling.
Right.
So like, you know, like, and then they put like these extremely. I remember like my dad telling me when I was a kid, he's like, you know how much time you get for having an 8-ball of cocaine versus having a rock, a piece of crack. You know what I'm saying? They were giving us 10 years for every rock of crack cocaine.
Right.
You get 10 years total for an 8-ball
Right.
of cocaine. So that lets you know who's doing cocaine, who's doing crack.
Wow.
And that lets you know like the racial breakdown in the ways that they set us up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the breakdown of like us being in prison, you know, and everybody like, you know, black fathers aren't at home. It's like, damn, man,
Yeah.
like you ain't giving us no jobs.
Yeah.
We hustling in the street, and now we in prison. Yeah, niggas ain't home.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we locked away.
Yeah.
So like, you know, when you're talking about the game of like the prison industrial complex, the prison industrial complex has always been set up. It's slavery. It's always been slavery.
Right.
They found a way, a loophole to,
Indentured servitude.
you know what I'm saying? They kept us in without us knowing it.
Yeah.
And then we accepted it only because that was the reality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, and that's why, I mean, you know, I'm a hustler as well. It's the hip hop mind state, the hip hop mentality.
Yeah, man.
We hustle because that's what we have. They didn't leave you many more options other than to take what little piece you have, protect it, make something out of it. Obviously, sucked you in, sucked people in, became part of the community. Unfortunately, we started losing people because of it. So that's why I try to be really careful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's why I try to be really careful when, you know, when I'm composing lyrics and shit, because, you know, that does
Yeah.
formulate a culture. Whereas these days, you know, it's, I don't see the government being angry. I think when hip hop music first came out, they were scared of what it could do to wake up the culture, wake up the neighborhoods who were, you know, about fuck the police. But now, government isn't saying much about it because they're okay with the drug talk and the gun talk and the killing and all that. They're okay with it because it keeps us in that. It keeps us in that lifestyle. It keeps you becoming a target. You know what I mean? If you are hustling and you're out there hustling in a way that is gonna get you seen and get you locked up, like, I mean, why are they gonna intrude or impede or say anything against it the way they used to when hip hop was first being incepted?
Right.
You know, and I think, you know, nothing to say against the cats that are making that kind of music. Do your thing. That's part of the hustle as well. We got those options available to us. We rap, we play sports, whatever, you know, we got more opportunities now than ever.
For sure.
But that is still, you know, a concern of mine when I'm sitting down to write music as a potential influencer. I want to influence you to make smarter moves that isn't going to make you a statistic and land you in incarceration or somebody's prison system. You know what I mean? I think there's a heavy responsibility for, not even a responsibility because I don't want to put that on anybody's shoulders. But it is absolutely something that influences culture. Is all that. And so, you know, the more that we buy into certain things like that, the more we become a potential target for becoming in the prison industrial complex, being locked up or having kids and then getting taken away from your kids. You know, is that's just me. That's me when I write. Sure. Like I don't want to. I could absolutely. You know what I mean? I could write gangster shit. I've been around it my whole life. I've been arrested for hustling. You know what I mean? I've had my run-ins with the law too. And it was out of what I thought were lack of options to formulate the way I wanted to do my life. You know, you grow up, you figure it out, you get arrested, you learn, you know, either you come out and do the same thing, because that's all you got, or you try to make yourself available to new opportunities.
Right.
To overcome the system that's been set up for us.
For sure. I mean, I totally agree with that, man. Like, I feel like, you know, the influence of hip hop in our current generation that we're in right now, you know, it's got, when we were coming up, you know what I'm saying, we're like, I'm late 90s, early 2000 kids.
Me too.
So like, you know, when we were coming up, it was hustling mentality still. Like, I feel like our mentality was to get the money, you know, push the drugs, you know, but like, now, you know, you got cats like Juice WRLD, who recently passed away doing drugs, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, kids that are on Xannies and, you know, the whole opioid epidemic that's happening right now. And, you know, like, those are agendas, you know what I'm saying? Those are definitely agendas. And any artist that's signed to a major label, they may not go in. It's just like a president candidate, right? A president candidate doesn't go in intentionally thinking that he's going to freaking bomb some country and be you know, they go in with the best intentions.
You would hope, right?
For the most part, you know what I'm saying? I think most, you know, candidates that are aspiring to be a politician of any sorts, they usually are going in with the best intentions. I think a lot of artists go in with the best intentions, signing to some major labels, right? But like, there's somebody who's running that narrative behind those closed doors, and then with them being behind those closed doors, you know, they got reasons that they need people to be a certain way. So they got rappers who they mold specifically to rap those dumbass narratives, you know. And then us, we're independent artists, so we have independent thought. Say what the hell we want, mean it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always been that, man. Like, for one, I'm the style of person that I feel like artists do whatever the hell they want. As an artist and a creator, you don't have to be conscious and still be an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think hip hop, we have an arrogance that comes to that conscious narrative sometimes. You know, we're more intellectual, but there's plenty of intellectual, hyped up, lit artists. You know what I'm saying? Very smart, you know? But I think that, you know, art is art. And like, the things that I partake in and I create and I put out has way more to do with what I'm interested in. And then hopefully that falls on the ears of other people who relate, or somebody who may not relate, but they're at least like open to the narrative. You know, okay, he's talking some shit. I get it. I feel where he's coming from. You know, music, art, creation, not everybody's gonna fuck with it. Some people ain't gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the brilliance of it. It's not made for everybody. Some people may think it's too one way. Another person may think it's too left, you know? But it'll fall on the people who need it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. Because all of us are called me and you are orators. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're griots. You know, we're storytellers. We're prophets. You know, so our jobs are to just do what we do, whatever our reality looks like. So, you know, not everybody gonna fuck with us. Some of us some people may think it's boring, or some people may be like, that's out of my bag, I don't mess with it. But me personally, I don't judge anyone who doesn't do what I do. I just feel like we're all called to do something. But I do scrutinize and do have some criticism towards artists who are signed to labels who become tools. I understand the game. If you're young, you get signed at 16, 17 years old, you get $1 million. You know, for a sign-up bonus,
for sure.
You know, you gonna sign that. You know what I'm saying? But or hopefully you have somebody who's wise around you who has enough insight to say, like, if they willing to pay you $1 million, you could probably make $10 million by yourself. You know what I'm saying? But
I mean, we see that now with Justin Bieber. He was a kid. And did not have the right support staff around him. And I mean, I think I think that's a big part, is to, surround yourself with people who are going to tell you maybe no every once in a while. I know you're the thing that's making the money right now, but maybe no. Maybe we don't. Maybe we try to make the money a different way, as opposed to continually perpetuating the things that keep the culture down. The things that are continually representative of why we can't seem to claw out of these ways of living that are treacherous to us. Like, how do we? Obviously, we can't make. I mean, the fact that the culture is so inundated with drugs, like we said, with like Juice WRLD, and some of these there's other cats that had passed away. Mac Miller, another one. I mean, these were perpetuating drug use and making it cool.
Right.
And like, I like my vices like anybody else, but the only reason I'm gonna hear about all these kids and their music, because I don't actively search it out, is they're gonna keep passing away. Right. So I'm gonna hear everybody's catalog by just waiting for you to pass away from the shit that you're doing.
Man, that's one thing I noticed today. Like Pop Smoke. Is that the cat's name? I think he passed away today.
Okay.
But that's one thing I've been noticing about like right now. And it's a narrative, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a narrative. I feel like it's an agenda, me personally. But like, there's a lot of young rappers that are passing away at alarming numbers. And it's almost becoming so normalized that nobody even cares anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, people cared about Nipsey because of his influence on his community and the ways that he helped his community.
Right.
But a lot of these young cats are so caught up in this drug lifestyle, and they some of them getting shot. Some of them popped on the street.
Tentacion.
So, yeah, XX. Like, you got all these young cats that are dying. Think about when we were coming up. Tupac and Biggie died.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Big L died. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't like rapper after rapper after rapper after rapper after. And granted, like, it's different now because of the internet and the ways that we receive information.
Yeah.
There could have been a lot of rappers that are passing away. Maybe we just didn't know it because of the internet. But I don't feel like it was like that. I don't feel like it was like that, man. Like,
it was a smaller market, so I mean, I guess per capita, rapper per death might have been more. You know what I mean? There's so many more rappers now that. Maybe the more deaths is just simply because we have more rappers. Right. It's because we have more,
so.
You know what I mean?
Maybe so.
But, the fact that they all keep dying of the same, well, with the exception of the couple that have been shot and killed, they're all dying of the same thing. And it's drug abuse and overdosing.
Gun violence, all of it. Yeah, all of it.
So, and that's what's perpetuated in the music. And it was the same, it was more back when we were listening to hip-hop in the 90s and shit. It was like, this is what life looks like for us.
Right.
Now, it's like, this is how to live a cool lifestyle. Be like me.
Yeah. I mean, hip-hop is influential. It's the most influential culture in the world.
In the world.
What I'm saying? Have you seen some of the things that's happening, the movement that's building up in London right now with the grime scene and everything that's coming up? Yeah. And they got their...
It's like rooted in old school hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, they battle. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge thing within London grime, right? They spit hard. A lot of it comes from Jamaica. A lot of it's got a lot of that, Afro beat influence. So like the spitting and the ways that they do it is way more chopped up.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Yeah. They're killing it right now, man.
Yeah, I like it.
But like, you see what's happening over there is their thing is stabbings. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a stabbing epidemic where...
Really?
Yeah, so like out there, they got like a lot of young cats that are getting stabbed up. And that because they don't have guns out there.
Guns, right.
You know what I'm saying? Their guns are outlawed. So like when we're talking about the problem, like, are we talking about like the guns that are the problem or the drugs that are the problem? It sounds to me, it feels like we're talking about depression. We're talking about freaking people who don't have ways to cope,
right?
Who are going through such hard things that like freaking they feel like they have to turn to violence in the environments that they are, and everything is territorial because everything is a limited resource.
Because that's
in
all
that
you have is that territory.
That's all you got. So if all you got is your block, you gonna fight for your block, and that's tribal. You know that goes all the way back to our indigenous root. We gonna fight for our peace, because that's our peace. That's all we got. And I think that like, you know, we looking at what we dealing with right now as a culture and as a society. The best thing I feel like we can do is to take care of ourselves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Get yourself up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Get on your feet. Take care of your own money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what changes the culture. You being
not
good.
Have to rely on
You know, everybody doing good for themselves and everybody's doing good. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes if you got a crew of people, a community of people you doing good with, you gonna exchange. Like, yo, bro, here. And, oh, I got you. You know, you can do that because everybody's building in the same direction. We all going up. Then that's naturally, you want to build with like-minded people like that. But like the movement I'm really pushing is entrepreneurship, man. I'm really like, get your money right, get your credit right, buy some shit. I don't mean buy the block, fuck the block, fuck it, buy up. Just like look around some other communities, some other cheaper real estate, and buy some stuff, because right now,
start putting it together.
Put it together, man.
Get swallowed up.
Don't don't be worried about like the technology advancement. If you got good ideas and you're an innovator in the thought and you're investing in the money, you always gonna be good. Because like if you a hustler, that's the lesson that hip hop teaches, man. Hustle. Hustle.
Agreed.
And if you ain't hustling, then you failing, because like you keeping yourself stagnant.
Well, somebody else will hustle to get what you're not getting.
Exactly, and they should.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree with that. And you know, before, when I was thinking about it, before, you know, in being a caring person, and how does being taking care of yourself in that sense translate to also taking care of the community and the rest of the people around you. And you know, when you do that and you focus on yourself, you focus on bettering yourself, you become less a burden to other people, and you become more capable of helping other people. So absolutely, we should absolutely empower ourselves to be that person, so that other people can feed off of that and don't have to worry about you being a problem to them.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
And vice versa. I mean, imagine if that was the case, if we all had the strong enough mindset to be like, you know, I'm good. I don't, you know, I would gladly accept your help, but I don't need your help. We good because we good together. Because we out here, you know, understanding that, you know, the more better off I am to maintain myself, the less off I am a burden to the rest of the community.
Yeah, man. I think like, you know, that's the thing that America tricked us on. You know, like that's one of the things that like
we need America.
That we need America, and we all in competition. Like it's no competition within community. You know what I'm saying? Like I think about that with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I got 2 daughters, and like my daughters are taken care of from community members regularly. You know what I'm saying? People that are in the art community, people that like I came up with, I trust. You know what I'm saying? If they need it, and it goes back into the community, right? They watching my seed, I'm throwing them money. You know what I'm saying? I ain't throwing it to like some like freaking daycare center. I'm throwing it to my people, and I know where my kid is at, and I know how they getting taken care of because my people are doing it. And I think that's like one thing that it's simple. It's so simple, right? But we make it so complicated because we're used to constructs and like we gotta sign this paper, and we got, you know, like I'm very. You could be off the grid, in the grid. You know what I'm saying? You could be in the grid and still off of it. You know what I'm saying?
I've been exercising that a lot lately.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it's
how you navigate it. You know? So like that's where I'm at. I'm like, I'm very off the grid, in the grid. You know what I'm saying? Like I work in the grid very much so. You know, I'm working with the city. I've done a lot of stuff within that. But when it comes to like, you know, people that I want to grow with, you know what I'm saying, or people that I want to feed my money to. You know, like this space right here is a community space. They from Denver, you know what I'm saying? This is a needed, you know, root that we support. You know what I'm saying? Black, brown, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Asian. Like, you know, we got to get in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I? And that comes back to you regardless.
If
you know what I'm saying?
It in the community.
You keep putting it back in. It's gonna come back to you regardless. You know what I'm saying? I give money to people people like, I give money to homeless people regularly, not wanting or thinking or caring what they're gonna do with it, because it ain't like universe that put that person in my space,
right.
and I gave them money. Past that, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I let it go and let it be.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So, and like, you know, we get so caught up on what they doing with it and how they gonna spend it. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like at that point, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's not mine anymore. I'm not sitting there governing my dollars. Like, oh, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Follow him to the liquor store. Don't buy that.
Yeah. Like, let me get the liquor you should buy with this money. Like, nah, man, why you governing the dollar? Let the dude do what he gonna do. If he chooses that, you gave him that energy, passed it on. Whatever he does with that energy that you gave him at that point, it's his decision. Or their decision, I should say.
I'm the exact same way. You're absolutely right. I mean, to think that we have a say in what people do with their life, you know what I mean?
Right.
The choice was yours, yes or no, to give that person money.
Right.
What happens past that point is their choice.
It's their choice.
You had two choices, not to dictate. I mean, I guess you could, if you really felt up to it and you were trying to be considerate and get somebody money, you know, there are other ways if you do want to give
them food.
For to buy them food. If you're walking into 7-Eleven and someone's outside of 7-Eleven and you have a couple extra dollars to spare, can I buy you something inside this store?
Yeah.
We can put it on my card.
Right.
I've done that plenty of times. Again,
For sure.
it's not about what you get out of it. It is an exchange of energy between you and another human being. I mean, even helping people who don't need help financially, that need help in other ways. Show up at your friend's house and help them move a couch from one room to the other if they need help. If you notice somebody saying, you know, something that's ailing them currently they need help with, why not offer yourself in that situation?
Right.
More times than not, that kind of help is more beneficial than giving somebody money.
Right.
It's to give somebody your energy.
That's real. That's real.
You know?
I totally agree with that.
So, you know, and that's goes back to tying into, you know, what we do with ourselves, how we better ourselves, how we become better, is if we could somehow fully and thoroughly make ourselves the best version of ourselves, capable of exchanging that energy without having to worry about what the consequences to something else is. Just give that energy. We need that. We need that positive movement.
Yeah, man.
We need that a lot.
We need it a lot.
Yeah.
We need it a lot.
Agreed.
I think that's a healer for the world right there, is, you know, pass on the positivity. Bob Marley. You know what I'm saying?
One love.
One love. You
One
know,
love.
pass it on.
And, you know, the next time we have another 99 Occupy movement, let's stick with it.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? Let's not get distracted.
That's real. That's real, man.
Let's not get distracted, and let's keep working towards overcoming these systemically deep issues that keep us all divided.
Yeah, man. Like, my mind state right now, man, is really outside of America, is like really like getting on to like a global citizen mind state. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like really like thinking, because like, you know, outside of America, you travel, you get outside of the constructs of America, you know, things move different.
Yeah.
People interact different.
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, sir.
race is a thing, but not really. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And you learn that more so when you travel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you realize how toxic America is for what it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was built
what
on
it's supposed
toxic
to be.
soil.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like within it being built off of that, you know, like travel, you know what I'm saying? Get that exposure, because I feel that and then like think outside of the States if you're thinking about even building a business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, I'm thinking in the constructs of America. America ain't what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? New York ain't New York no more. LA ain't LA. And that's why people are coming to Denver.
Right.
Right? Because New York ain't New York no more. LA ain't LA no more. Denver is different energy-wise.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And people
feel that.
notice that.
I feel that.
You know, New York's already been done. LA's been done. You know what I'm saying? Denver's new ground.
Yeah.
That's why it's a young generation here. We got more millennials here than anywhere else.
Yeah,
You know what
because
I'm saying?
I mean, they take one trip here and be like, "This is where I want to be," because
They
the
wanna be
energy.
there.
It is
Energy,
a really
man.
good energy. I talk
Great
to a lot of
energy
people.
here.
I work right across the street from Union Station, so I get a lot of these kids that are just traveling, who are like, "Yeah, my friend told me to come check it out. I love it. I think I want to find a place." And I'm like, and you know, for me, we got all these Denverites here that are like, you know, anti transplants moving here. I'm like, y'all need to cut that out. Y'all sound like build that wall.
I feel, you know what? I feel like Denverites ain't used to, like, if you go to New York, you go to LA, there's people from everywhere all the time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Denver's just getting used to that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We're not used to being, and to be honest, this is a military town though too, so there's been people from other places here. Sure. It's just now we gotta focus on it. They like, where you from? Where you from?
Yeah.
How long you been here? You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I've been here 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Plus. You know, and then like, you know, like there's so much defense that even if you've been here, I'm a native in my mind. I'm originally from California, lived in Las Vegas, but I came out here like middle school, high school.
Me too.
I gotta justify that to people still. I was like, man, I've been here for a long time.
Longer than you, most likely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then, you know, there's some rooted Denverites who feel some sort of way, like, you ain't from here though.
But you don't own it though.
No one does. Exactly, bro.
You don't own it though.
You don't own it though, and that's what it is.
If it wasn't for somebody just drawing lines on a map, you wouldn't even know you were from here. You would have no idea of what this place is. You constructually rooted yourself here so much so that somebody else coming into your area,
my territory,
is somebody overcoming your territory. I get it. Maybe you're scared, but that's the conqueror's mindset. That's the I own this. You can't have it. Right. You're gonna have to take it from me. Mm-hmm. But I think Denver's getting better with it, and I think I'm open to. I think we've gotten a lot of really good people, like yourself, who've come from other states and come to this city and contributed to its beauty, to its ever-growing, just beauty. It is. I think Denver is such a beautiful place to be,
beautiful, man.
To grow, to have families. I mean, I'm very grateful. My parents described the place that we lived in California before we came here as a place that you don't want to raise kids. So I'm very grateful for them bringing me out here. We never had much when we were here, but what we did have was plenty. Yeah. And I've always fell in love with the energy that surrounds Denver. The fact that we got mountains.
We're spoiled.
20 minutes to the west of us. Spoiled.
Yeah, man. I was in New York recently, and freaking being in Central Park. And I was like, this is all the greenery y'all got is right here in the middle of the city. Of the city. Yeah. Like I see, and then like going to even being in LA, the homelessness, the beaches ain't clean. Like you realize what a gem Denver is when you here. It's clean here. You know what I'm saying? We got beautiful scenery. Yeah. And like I used to there was a point in my life, I'm sure with you, like I was like, I gotta get out of here, man. I'm thinking about moving to New York. I might go out to LA.
It's not that idea that's where you build your career. Right.
Yeah, you build your career out there. And like I feel like the best thing that I ever did was stay out here, and and the reason why is because the market is here now. Yep. You know what I'm saying? There's way more opportunities. I've done crazy opportunities from here. Yep. And like as a home base, if you're traveling and you going to other places and you coming back home to Denver's a great place to come back home to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to like being stuck in the middle of a city with a bunch of buildings and you can't see any life. Yeah. I mean, it's snowing right now, but that's life. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that. Yeah. I'll take the mountains, yo. I'll take all of that. I'm appreciative of Denver, man.
Me too.
It took me a long time to get to a point where I could really say that I love it and appreciate it. But after being out here as long as I have been and seeing the transition, the growth, the change, understanding the culture, it makes you appreciate it way more.
Well, and it's important to recognize, my brother, that it is as beautiful as it is because of your contribution to it.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you.
That it's not.
Yours as well. Yeah,
thank you. And I think that's important to let people know. Yeah. If you think that this place ain't beautiful, it's probably because you're not making it that way.
Man, I got an interesting conversation with this woman in New York, and she was talking about Denver, and it was freezing. I mean, it was kind of similar to it was colder in New York when I was out there, and like
that wind chill out there is no joke.
No joke.
Yeah, I got you.
And while we were talking, man, like she was asking about Denver. And she was like, where are you from? I live in Colorado. I'm from Denver. And she was like, isn't it cold out there? And at the time, it was like 65 degrees out here. I was like, actually, it's 65, 70 degrees out there. It's freezing here. It's beautiful out there right now. And she's like, I don't know. It seems like it's always cold out there. And that's the thing. That's what kept people away for so long. Is that they assumed that it was an ice bowl out here. And then they got out here and they seen that it was like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all got some warm days here? And the warm days are like beautiful.
We have more days of sun than most other states. Than most other states do.
I think most states. I think we're the sunniest state, even more sunny than Florida.
I think we're within like the top 5.
Yeah.
I think Florida is number 1, and California is like 2 or some shit like that. But we are.
We up
like
there.
Hawaii,
I think we might be above them, y'all.
Hawaii. We might have
Google
to
that, y'all.
That. Yeah. We gotta look that up. For sure.
But yeah, man, like Denver is, when it's beautiful, it's beautiful. You can't beat it.
It is always beautiful. All right, my dude. I think that's gonna end it. We have reached an hour. Thank you, Aldo, for filling us in. Episode 4, Thawt for Food, is coming to a wrap. What delicious, how were your wings, bro? Were they good?
They were delicious.
Yeah, my pasta was phenomenal. Thank you, Jamaican Grill, for providing our lunch. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. It
One
was
love
delicious.
to my man, Se7en.
Always, bro. Yeah.
Look forward to working. Hopefully we work on that
about
song.
to work.
Get some
Yeah.
shit going for y'all soon. So, peace and high power to you, my friends. Stay tuned. We'll get you more episodes coming soon.
Bless up.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, that was good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. That was good vibes.